So we're going to be explaining an equation for combustion. We're going to start with methane, oxygen, carbon dioxide, and water. The first step is we're going to find the oxidation numbers for methane. First we're going to start with carbon because we know that hydrogen is +1 when paired to a non-metal. So for this we just plug in X for C plus 4 because there's 4 hydrogens. That becomes +4. To find X we have -4. Then we know that oxygen is a 0 for oxidation number because when it's paired by itself, it has an oxidation number of 0. We move on to carbon dioxide. We're going to solve for C again because we know that oxygen is a -2 charge. X plus 2, -2 is 0, -4, X is +4. And we can see that it's equal because we start with a -4 and we end with a +4. We know that hydrogen is a -1 and oxygen is a -2. Then we're going to find our i's here, and we're going to start with how did carbon start with a -4 and end to a +4. We can see that visually by a number line. We start -4, 0, +4. The only way we can get from here to here is to lose 8 electrons. So what we can see here is that at the end, 8 electrons was added to this part of the equation. And then that's an example by carbon was oxidized. Now we're going to find that it was oxidized by oxygen later on. We're going to move on to hydrogen. Hydrogen is a +1 and it moved to a -1, stable. And then we're going to start with oxygen here. Since it has a 0, and this is technically 4 because 2 times 2 is 4, we ended with 4 oxygens because that's the only way it would be balanced. We have 2 here, and then 2 times 2, oh, 2 times 2, I'm sorry, is 4. So here's our ending amount of oxygens. Now the only way that we could get from an oxidation number of 0 to -2 was that -2 was distributed to all 4 oxygens. So the only way that could have happened was that we started with 8 electrons here, and then it was reduced at the end. And that's the example that I have here, that oxygen was reduced by carbon, because carbon at first, or at the end, had the 8 electrons, and at first oxygen had them. Now, another way you can see this is that this is an oxidation reaction, is by oil rig. Oxidation is losing, and reduction is gaining.